Hi, I'm David Hosea, and I'm president and I run Hosea Project Movers. We're a moving company that our primary jobs are we move factories across town, across the country. Right now we've been moving most factories overseas, and I go put them back together.
My name is Karen Yates, and I'm the executive director of the Henery Hosea House. And my responsibilities are to run the place. I pretty much do all of the executive work here. I do the payroll, I do the ordering of food, the picking up of donations. I can do anything from being nice and neat up in the office, doing something behind the desk, to down here fixing the toilet, because it's easier to fix it than call a plumber.
I named the Henery Hosea House after my grandfather, Henery Hosea Sr., my father, Henery Hosea Jr. My father passed away some 25 years ago, and when he died, his family, they moved up here from Toccoa, Georgia back during the Depression looking for work, and they just sort of like settled here in Newport. It was real simple. Both of them preached. My grandfather preached to my dad preached to me, that always put something back in your community.
I got involved with the soup kitchen through the Interfaith Commission, which was a ecumenical interfaith group of churches that I worked for. I was the secretary for the director there, and they're the group that helped start this. The Sister Mary Dorgan, who was the person that wanted to see the soup kitchen here, came to the Interfaith Commission and said, I want to do this. And David Hosea and Reverend Neuroth were good friends, and he knew David wanted to do something in the community, so he got us all together. We went to lunch, and David decided to buy this building and bring the soup kitchen into it.
I grew up from the time I was 5 years old. I went to work with my grandfather and father. They had a business at 11th and Central here in Newport, and it was always, I was always riding around, always going on jobs, and always just hearing them preach how it's better to help people, you know, and you just establish a good Christian values.
Because the soup kitchen had started in the church and was only doing one night a week, and Sister wanted to do more. And as the secretary, his secretary, I helped do all of the background work and come up with the nonprofit status and do a lot of those kinds of things. And then when Sister was leaving, they were looking for somebody to take over, and they were going to hire someone. They were going to go through that process. And they said, Karen, could you kind of oversee things until we hire somebody? So I ended up taking it on, working part-time, because I kept my job at the Interfaith Commission. And I also worked part-time at the Interfaith Hospitality Network, which is a homeless shelter. And that was another spot that was started by the Interfaith Commission. And doing all three of those, and finally it came down to the board here saying, all right, we need you just on our side. You're raising money for all these different places. We need you just on one spot. And so they hired me in full-time.
Well, originally everyone thought we were feeding homeless people, which we really don't feed many homeless people here. But there's so many older people that because of Social Security and that, they run out of money at the end of the month, or they're raising their kids, and they just don't have the necessary funds to do it. And there's also, if you ever come down here and see the people in line, there's lots of mothers in their 20s and 30s with little kids that the fathers have disappeared, and it's just what I call a little hamburger helper through the bad times.
We are the only soup kitchen in Kenton, Boone, and Campbell County that serves an evening meal right now. Now they are getting ready to start one in Boone County to do an evening meal, but we've been it for the 20 years we've been here. We have Parish Kitchen in Covington that serves lunch, and then we do the dinner meal. So there's definitely a need out there because there's nobody else doing it.
How would I get people involved in coming down here? I tell everybody that, even myself, you need a reality check, and the reality check is coming down here and walking in and saying, wow, no matter how bad a day I had, I'm a whole lot better off than most of the people that are in here.
he was homeless, living under the bridge, 471 bridge, but he worked every day. And he just never seemed to be able to have that gumption or be able to save enough money to get an apartment and to do everything he needed to do to get out from under the bridge. And so I got him hooked in with the cold shelter. At that time it was called the cold shelter. Now they've made it emergency shelter because they started a summer program where gentlemen that were homeless could go there, not worry about having a bed every night. They could leave their stuff there. They could go to work every day, know they had a place to come back to. And that social worker there worked with them, helped them start bank accounts, helped them save their money. And by the end of the summer, George had his own apartment. And we helped him furnish it. We had stuff left from Christmas, pots and pans and blankets. And so we helped him furnish the apartment. And not long after that, this has been 2 years now, and he is still in the apartment, doing well, working every day. But he came and he took pictures of us about 6 months after he moved in the apartment. He asked the cook, Angie, and I, and the weekend person if he could take our pictures. And I was teasing him. I was like, George, do you already have mice in your apartment and you want to use our pictures to get rid of them? He said, no, Karen. He said, I've always been taught that when you have a home, you have pictures of your family, and you all are my family. He said, really, you're my angels. And he said, I want pictures of you in my apartment so that I can look every day and know I'm where I'm at because of you. And that just touched me, and I just have never had anybody do that with me before. And that man, I mean, he is a strong man. He is was homeless for all that time. He has this apartment. He rides a bike to Cincinnati every day to work. And he lives on Pike Street up by Western Avenue. I mean, almost to Dixie Highway. Rain, shine, whatever. He never misses a day of work. And on the way home, he stops by here and eats and then goes home. And so he's I call him one of my success stories. But he always says we're his angels.
I was eating at Frisch's 1 year ago, and I'm sitting there, and I always wear my Hosea shirts like 7 days a week. And I'm sitting there, and the waiter comes up and looks at me, and he goes, are you related to David Hosea? And I go, I am David Hosea. He fell to his knees and cried for a half an hour. Called the manager over, and I said, can he just sit down and get him a cup of coffee and all that? And he goes, David, you don't know how you changed my life. He said, I was driving down York Street one day. I saw all these people lined up, and I said, this must be a restaurant. He said, I was strung out on crack cocaine. He said, I'm going in to rob that restaurant. And he said, I hadn't eaten in 10 days, and I came in and got a meal. And the fellow that I was sitting with said, man, it looks like you're in bad shape. And he said, if you're in bad shape, you need to talk to Karen, and she'll get you straightened out. And he said, I had a loaded gun. I was going to kill someone if I had to rob. And he said, you saved my life. They said they got me in a job training program that I worked for Frisch's, and this is my first week's job. We are trying to make a home, and a lot of people, this is their family, this is their home. And you feel so good when you walk out of here, and the guy comes up and shakes your hand and thanks you for all the help and everything. And I think I'm a blessed person. I go through good times and bad times just like everybody else, but somehow we always make it, and when everybody works together, everybody comes out a winner.
Any person that comes through these doors that eat in the soup kitchen could be us. You just never know. A lot of us live paycheck to paycheck, and one catastrophe or one thing could put us right here where these people are. And I think that by looking at it that way, it opens your heart up to want to help people that are a little less fortunate than we are. I mean, Jesus told us to do that, to go out and help those that are less fortunate. And we feel that that's what we do here at Hosea House. And anybody that comes here, anyone that comes in to volunteer, if your heart isn't touched by what you see and what you do, then there's something wrong.